If you've been around Fortnite long enough, you've probably heard of rocket racing at one point. This mode was a high-speed thrill ride through chaos, fire, and explosions, but as of now it feels like rocket racing has faded into the background, almost like a forgotten relic. Today we're going deep into why that happened from the moment rocket racing hit its peak to when things started to spiral downward. We'll talk about everything. The excitement, the bugs, the community's reaction, and whether there's a chance we'll ever see this mode revived. So buckle up, because we're riding through Fortnite Rocket Racing's epic decline, and if you're feeling nostalgia, it has only been 4 seasons, but anyway, drop a like on this video. Let's see why Fortnite Rocket Racing is dying. When this mode first dropped, it was like Fortnite had reinvented itself. Rocket Racing was fast, explosive, and let's face it, straight up chaotic. But that chaos was what made it so special. It was the kind of mode where you could pull off ridiculous plays, make insane comebacks, and honestly it was just a blast. But as we all know, not everything lasts forever. In this video we're breaking down everything that went wrong. Rocket Racing didn't just fade quietly, it had some real potential, and the fall was more of a slow, painful one. I'll be talking about the exact moments where the excitement wore off and why players eventually gave up on it. It's a story of missed opportunities and what ifs. So whether you're new to Fortnite or a veteran play, stick around, because this is a story worth telling. I guarantee you'll find something interesting in the rise and fall of Rocket Racing, and who knows, maybe we'll see this mode make a comeback someday. Let's dive into it. Alright, let's take it back to when Rocket Racing was first announced. When Epic Games dropped the trailer, the entire Fortnite community went wild. People were like, wait, we're racing with rocket boosters and dodging explosions and stand on top of cars. Sign me up. With the trailer alone built up insane hype. Streamers were already planning their first matches and YouTubers were prepping strategy guides before the mode even went live. Rocket Racing promised something no one had seen before, mixing racing with Fortnite's classic combat mechanics. When it finally launched, the excitement was real. The first time you hopped into a race, it felt like you were part of a fast-paced, high-stakes action movie. The visuals were stunning, the gameplay was exhilarating, and it was a refreshing change from the usual battle royale grind. Fortnite has always been known for its innovation, and Rocket Racing was no exception. It was a unique spin on the game's usual formula, and it quickly became a fan favorite. I only played it for a free skin, but during that time I had fun. Players were pulling off wild stunts, using rocket boosts to launch themselves over obstacles and blowing up their opponents in midair by hitting them with their own car. Oh wait, that was me. It was pure unfiltered chaos, but in the best way possible. People were sharing their best moments online, and Rocket Racing clips started on TikTok, YouTube, and even Twitter. For a few weeks it seemed like Rocket Racing was the new go-to mode in Fortnite. Players were leaving battle royale queues just to jump into Rocket Racing lobbies. Even Fortnite veterans who had seen it all were hooked. The community was buzzing and it looked like Epic had struck gold. But as with all good things, the honeymoon phase didn't last forever. Fast forward a bit and the cracks in Rocket Racing began to show. The initial hype began to die down and the community began to notice some of the flaws in the game mode. For starters, balance became a major issue. The Rocket Racing ranked was a bit unbalanced because people were barely in the higher ranks like Alliant and Champion, so it was hard to reach Unreal, and when you did it would take over 10 minutes to load. I could watch a video in that time. Then there were the bugs, and there were a few. Players glitched through walls and the vehicles disappeared, but this happened infrequently. The matchmaking started to feel off. Rocket Racing was an energetic mode, but it relied heavily on having full lobbies. If you got into a match with only a few players, the experience felt flat. The chaos that made the mo fun just wasn't there. When you were racing against just a handful of people with fewer players queuing up for Rocket Racing, matchmaking times became longer and the player base began to shrink. The final straw came when it became clear that Rocket Racing was no longer a priority for Epic Games. While the Fortnite modes received frequent updates, new content and unbalanced changes, Rocket Racing was left in the dust. No new maps, no new vehicles, no new weapons. The mode began to feel like an afterthought, and players could tell. During the making of this video, they announced that they would be focusing on other modes like LEGO and BR, but still making changes here and there. People were moving on to other modes, and Rocket Racing lobbies were getting harder and harder to fill. If you wanted to play, you'd often have to wait a long time just to get into a match, and when you finally did, the lack of players made the experience feel underwhelming. Epic could also drop new maps for Rocket Racing, similar to how they've done with Creative Mode. Maybe they introduce some insane, larger-than-life tracks with crazy jumps, tight corners, and environmental hazards that keep players on their toes. And of course, Fortnite being Fortnite, you could throw in some fun crossovers. Imagine racing through a Star Wars-themed map with TIE fighters zooming overhead. That's the kind of fresh content Rocket Racing would need to capture people's attention again. And it's not just the mechanics that need a revamp. Rocket Racing needs a narrative hook to pull players back in. Fortnite's live events and seasonal changes have proven time and time again that players love a good story, so why not tie Rocket Racing into a larger storyline? Maybe the island is hosting a massive tournament and Rocket Racing is part of the grand event. Give players a reason to care about the mode beyond just racing. It could easily fit into Fortnite's larger universe. Alright, that's a wrap on the epic rise and fall of rocket racing. What do you guys think? Should Epic bring rocket racing back, or is it better left in the past? Let me know in the comments, and hey, if you're feeling nostalgic for rocket racing like I am, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into Fortnite history. It's crazy to think about how far Fortnite has come and how much has changed over the years. From Battle Royale to creative to experimental modes like rocket racing, the game has constantly evolved. Maybe we'll see rocket racing return someday, but until then we've got plenty more Fortnite memories to look back on. Thanks for watching, squad, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay frosty.